What up, what up, what up? What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Smooth Orator. Welcome to NWAP, Negroes with a Podcast, Season 5, Episode 3. I am the host and the moderator.
I'm Tunde, Talk 7.
Lextopia here, also host and moderator.
I don't know why I keep saying, I feel like I've been saying that for so long. Like,
I'm the host and the moderator. It's my show.
I mean,
look, I'm glad you're here. You keep us all together, honestly. I wouldn't want to do the show with just Tunde.
Damn.
Wow.
That's cool.
Jesus
Christ. Shoot.
I thought she was giving me a compliment.
Like 3 episodes in, and that's the first thing I said about Tunde. So that's good.
I guess that's progress.
Very much so. Thank you for recognizing the growth.
Mm-hmm. Niggas always growing. All right. So today we are going to do a special interview episode. We feel like we've been doing this podcast for, has it been 4 years? It's been 4 years, right? It's been like over 4 years?
Over 4 years.
All right. So this is the second longest relationship that I've ever had in my life. It's with you niggas.
Definitely my longest.
So I know that, you know, we've talked about ourselves in depth at various points over the last, I guess, we're over 100 episodes, right?
Way over.
Yes.
We're close to like 200, right? So that's how long we've been doing this shit. So we felt like, you know, for people who have been listening for a while, some of this probably won't be new to you, but you'll enjoy it anyway. And, you know, we always end up picking up, you know, you never know when people start listening to these episodes. So for all we know, is somebody might have clicked on today's episode and been like, today is my first day. So we want to do our new interview series called, I was going to call it Meet the Negro, but like, or Meet a Negro. I like Meet the Negro. It kind of goes with the Negroes of the podcast theme. So we're calling it Meet the Negro, the Meet the Negro series. We should have some like special music or something as an aside. Lex probably don't want to do that shit though, because she don't want to do all the editing anyway.
Right.
So like, don't be giving me no more work.
Wait a minute.
I know you got real quiet. I saw your face when I said that shit. You was like,
if y'all start making some beats, then
if we still used Audacity, I could add some in post Lexi, but I don't know how to do that anymore.
Some sound effects.
Yeah.
So we need an audio intern. Yeah, we need an audio intern. If you know
they could be putting stuff in like boing.
Right. all that shit. Yeah, that shit. So for our first in our Meet the Negro series, we're going to start with Lextopia. Ooh. AKA Lex, AKA I be pimping all the hoes.
AKA young wild nigga.
Right. AKA young drug. You probably do be selling drugs that you out in Cali.
Black Widow episode. Just relax.
Yeah, we're not.
I am doing some more traveling coming up.
We're not going to call it that. All right, so we'll keep it nice and simple. State your name, please.
My name is Alexia Eldora Clancy.
Next question. Where's your social security number?
My social security number is 242.
Yeah, please don't do that.
My social security number is from Tennessee and Nashville, because isn't the numbers based on where you're from, right? Where you're born?
I think so.
I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, so
great city.
Yeah, I don't know if it's great, but it was cool, I guess. I was only there for a couple of years, and I moved back for a couple of years, but I was a kid, so.
Where did you spend your earliest years or your formative years?
My formative years, I would say North Carolina. So I was born in Tennessee. My dad's from Tennessee. Then I lived in Kentucky for a couple of years in Lexington. Then we moved back to Tennessee. Then I moved to North Carolina. Probably had to be 4 or 5 because that's when I started school. So, you know, the place where you went to school from elementary, high school, middle school, all that. I always just tell people I'm from North Carolina.
What part of North Carolina?
I grew up in Winston-Salem, Trefo, but I wasn't hood like that. I think they have some reputation. I'm really not even that aware of it because I was
about to say. I thought I heard about niggas fighting in Winston-Salem.
I think they do, but I was on the side of town closer to the mall, Haynes Mall, and like more of the busy side, and then there was the hood side. It's so weird how cities are always split up like this, but because definitely the hood side is like where we went to church. The hood side is like where I had to go do some other stuff. But most of the side that I grew up on, like I didn't see all that. So I didn't even know they had any reputation.
Okay. Weren't you homeschooled at some point in your growing up?
Yeah, in middle school. I think my parents thought it was a good idea to be homeschooled in middle school because that's like the scary years where, oh man, you could go all the way this side or you could be, you know, all the way like cool. So I think thought they were trying to protect me. I wouldn't say it was bad. For me, I like being by myself. So I used to be at home straight chilling. And my mom worked third shift. So high key, we just got some books. She'd come home from work, write down, read this in this book, do this in this book, do this and this. And she went to sleep. And so I was in the front. I did my little work in probably like an hour. And I would watch PBS and be chilling until my brothers got home from school.
So
my dad got off work.
So you have an older brother and a younger brother, right?
No, I do not.
You have two younger brothers?
Yes, I'm the oldest.
Okay, you have two younger brothers.
I'm the oldest, most responsible one.
So your parents didn't want to homeschool your brothers?
That's
They
what I was
did
going to ask.
homeschool them as well. So we all did for just those same 3 years. And we're all 2 years apart. So we overlapped maybe a year, I think, each of us. My middle brother, though, he's totally different personality from me. Like, he likes being social, out and about. He hated it. Like, he hated it. I was like, nigga, I'm chilling. He hated it. Addison, the youngest one, I don't know. I think he just goes with the flow, too, kind of like I do. So he was straight. But Ashton, he's the one who then later, while down high school and then like in college, we had that family huddle where he had like the -0 GPA and we had to talk about it. Like,
had to have an intervention.
Yeah. So we're just different like that. But he's super smart, but you know, like he was trying to have fun or whatever. For me, I always just kept it chill and then just knew in the back of my mind when I go to school, I'll just do whatever I want then. But even in hindsight, like I never did anything super wild. I mean, I had fun, but school was easy and I never studied. And I used to be in the library with orange juice and vodka, like laughing at people because they were working. And I still got all A's. I don't know.
This was high school, right?
Nah, college. That shit was easy.
She said orange juice and vodka. I was real.
No,
I
didn't drink. Yeah, I didn't drink in high school. I didn't go to no parties in high school. I didn't hang out with nobody in high school. So like right now, I mean, that sounds really lame, I guess. I just didn't have that kind of.
It is kind of lame, but.
Yeah, it is. Like I didn't have a life. I didn't even try to make a life until college, until I was gone. And then I had all my friends, like nothing. But in high school, I also didn't really respect or like a lot of the people that I was in school with. So let me say a lot of the people of color because I tended, so it's weird. As a Black person, I always would hang out with Black people, but then I'm like, man, y'all are whack. Like they were just whack to me.
So let me ask you this: in high school, in most high schools, they have like in the lunchroom, right? You have like the jock table and you have the nerd table. Which table did you sit at?
Who did I sit with? I sat with a group of girls because we had tables outside too. I honestly don't remember anybody from my high school. Probably people who were kind of in my neighborhood too. I had a few good friends. I'm not saying I didn't talk to nobody or like I walked around looking like I was going to shoot the place up or anything. Like I was cool. It's just a lot of the more like louder, popular people were, in my mind, they were already lame because I was seeing them like from an older person's light, if that makes any sense. Like now they're all fucking lame and like they're super lame, all have 10 kids. Like, but I always saw, that's what I saw then.
So what did you do in high school? Like, that's what I'm trying to get at. Like,
I really, like even now, I can barely think of anybody else that I went to school with like that. I didn't keep up with any of them. When I go home now, back to Winston-Salem, I literally go home and hang out with my parents, watch Netflix. Like I use that as a time to like straight up chill and relax. I don't.
So you didn't do any.
Hang out with nobody.
You didn't like join a debate team or.
Nah. So one thing I kept thinking I wanted to do was run track, but I had just never. I wasn't a good follow through person when it came to stuff like that. I don't think I ever followed through with doing the forms. I think my parents didn't have the most bread to be doing, all that. Are we gonna drop you off, do this extra stuff, get this extra, all these equipment? So I think in my mind, again, I was just like, I'm not gonna bother them that much with it. And I didn't care that much. It's weird because I'm a person who I like really care about something, or I I don't care about a lot of things. So I'm pretty good at letting stuff flow.
All or nothing.
Kind of, yeah. I honestly can't think of anything. I was very involved with our church, though. Maybe that's what it is too. So
that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, like I grew up in a churchy house, so like we would go to Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
We went to a white church. By the time I was in middle school, we switched to a white church that was in a city maybe 30 minutes away. But it was cool because they had a real cool youth group, and there were some other people there. There were some other Black people that went there. You know how churches started to get all we're young and modern and multicultural. Yeah, it was one of those. So it was like cool, fun. The youth group was really cool. I think that really was more of my center of kid friends, like hangout people, was that. Which wasn't too churchy because you know how kids are. They really be bad as hell.
That's actually surprising considering like you lived in what you said, Tennessee, Kentucky, and North Carolina, which are like right in the middle of the Bible Belt. And to find like a modern church, and you said in middle school, high school, that's
well, by modern, they had a few Black people. Like it wasn't like a half and half, but they also had a Spanish speaking service. And I mean, this isn't like 1948. Like
I mean, still it's like it's the 90s though. I mean, right?
Yeah. It would be the late 90s. Gosh, when did I graduated high school in 99 or when? I graduated in 99.
No, you didn't. You couldn't, because I'm older than you, and I graduated in 99.
Yeah.
Well, unless you graduated early.
Or not. Maybe I didn't. I don't see how I don't know. Like that whole span of time is like, I don't remember.
Probably graduated in 2001.
No. Because I graduated in 2003, then 2000. I went to high school in 99, then maybe.
Okay, so you graduated high school.
I graduated in 03. Okay. I graduated from college in 07. That makes more sense. I knew 99 was a year for something.
Something happened in 99.
Right. But yeah, man, my church people were the coolest because when I start really thinking, like, what did I do? Like but I got to do some cool ass experiences. Like that's why I know Romanian, because I like spent time in Romania when I was 16. That was
I didn't know you knew Romanian.
Da, vorbiți românește?
What the fuck?
So what's funny too is recently within the last that Fed talk coming together.
Yeah, fucking Russian bot.
Recently, I have a Russian keyboard too on my thing, but that's because my sister-in-law is Russian. So I'll be trying to learn stuff for my future nieces and nephews, I guess. In the last couple of years, when I've done like a social media training and work with somebody, I've literally met two people who at some point they mentioned they were Romanian, and then I started talking to them and they were like, whoa, my gosh. And then I definitely like closed themselves so good, or like they really enjoyed the class or whatever, just because they were like, wow, didn't expect that.
Are you fluent in Romanian or like?
No, not at all.
You just know like a few phrases and stuff?
Yeah. Like, especially now. So what it was is I was out there for a summer, and I would always try to learn language before I go anywhere. So I would try to practice it, learn it. I'm really good with accents, and I'm really good at picking things up pretty quickly. I've been speaking Spanish since I was in second grade, and I'd always just continued to take that as well. But with this, I just did it because I was going there. And then when I got there, I just straight up like would just talk and practice. And people, when you say one thing, everybody all of a sudden they go ham, and he's like, whoa, that's all I knew. Like I don't really know what you talk about. But it's cool, and I've always had a very respectful nature for a different culture and trying to understand, how people do different things. And I learned like crazy life lessons just from that trip at 16, where we were going into homes of people, and they're, come to our house, we'll feed you, blah blah blah. They would literally give us like their last of their, all they had some stale chips, like it was so stale. Their soda was so flat, but they're like, here, smiling, giving you everything. And it was really a interesting experience for me. I met a girl who was almost blind. She was a cute little girl. She couldn't see. And I met one girl who was 16, and she was crying to us about how she couldn't afford to go to school. She wants to go to school so bad, but she has to take a bus to get to this other part of the city, and it costs $1. She only makes $1 every 2 weeks at this factory she worked at. So as a 16-year-old, seeing all of those things, it really made me feel way more appreciative of my life in the States, and you know, came back wanting to do things like we started sending supplies over or start a little fund for her to go to school. And it made me just really look at things differently to see those types of things like at a young age. I also met like a Gypsy King and a bunch of like weird, cool stuff. I went to Dracula's castle. I jumped a train like Indiana Jones style. Like I was on a train and had to like jump the cars. There was like a lot of action. Like everything was really cool. And I kind of miss doing as much random travel as I used to, but that was kind of the start of it. Or of me going by myself. Outside of that, my family's from the Bahamas. So like we used to go to the islands all the time and travel like that all the time. But that was my first time in Europe. And then I continued it because from college, I went to college in Spain too for a little while. So all that traveling and language and all that stuff, like that's really the lane that I wanted to be in as far as diplomacy.
So you said you went to college in Spain part-time, right? What did you get your undergraduate degree in?
I double majored in international relations and Spanish.
I didn't know you majored in Spanish. I knew you did the international.
I just did because I already spoke Spanish and to graduate and because the two went so well together, anything I did for Spanish like counted for IR and then kind of the other way around as well. So right. I graduated also early. I graduated in 3.5 years. I was done. And then, but that last semester, I just stuck around. I was just like, oh God, everybody hated me because I really was just there just to walk across the stage for May. But I finished everything because all of my classes counted double. So I just did Spanish off default just because it was like, I only got to take a couple classes. I placed in already halfway through because I did a lot of AP. I did like AP Spanish Lit, AP Spanish. I got 5s on all those exams when I was in high school. I went to school with Chris Paul at the Career Center in high school. He's from Winston-Salem too. Shout out Trey Foe again.
And he went to Wake Forest, right?
Mm-hmm. Our AP Center, like everybody had to go to this one building to take all those classes. So that's where everybody would be from different schools.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of cool getting to see different people.
So you got your undergraduate degree in international relations and Spanish.
Yes.
And then at Elon, right?
Yeah. But I took so many random classes. I don't know how I did all this early. It's like everything always just lined up. I did Hebrew, Japanese. I did so many things.
So you left there and you started working after undergrad or you went directly to grad?
I don't know. So my nature of being like go with the flow always tends to bite me in the ass because I was you're 21-ish, 22 when you graduate from college. My dumbass really thought like, okay, I just apply to grad school and just go. I didn't know I had to take a GRE. I didn't know it was like what the process was. All of a sudden I was like, huh? I had to take a test. And like, I did not know these things. Like I really was just graduated and I had all that extra time. I could have planned it out. But I didn't. So I knew I wanted to do grad school, but I wasn't sure exactly what. So I just started working, A, to figure out what the process even was. And then B, because I wanted to really be sure I knew exactly what I wanted to study because international relations is huge. So this is the part of the story where I was looking at the CIA clandestine program and I got through, I did like a zillion phone interviews with them.
Right. That's what I was going to ask you about with that, with the international relations and stuff like that.
Then they got me into, where'd I have to go? I had to go to Raleigh to go start doing some training for the program. And essentially the clandestine program is where you are living a fake life and you are just getting information from people. So building relationships, getting information that you're then passing on to the powers that be. And at that time, I was very, very aware of what was going on with politics. I could look at any country and tell you the population and the capital. And I knew a bunch of languages or enough of a bunch of languages to understand what was happening. I knew leaders in different countries. So I was grooming myself to be a spy essentially, and to be, like I said, I was interested in public diplomacy and I was interested in maybe like working in an embassy abroad, things like that. That's what I thought I wanted to do. But at the time, I decided not to go that route eventually because I was like, man, I don't think this is the kind of life I would want to have with a family, which is stupid now that I think about it. Like, I'd only had one relationship. Maybe that was enough to jade me and think, oh man, I don't want to do this. But I was young and I really should have just kept going and, you know, see what happens. But I didn't. And then I ended up working at my school. So I worked at Elon just for a couple of years in the admissions department. Super easy. That was I don't want to say the worst time of my life. That was the least amount of effort time of my life. Maybe you can identify with that first kind of real corporate job where it's like rolled in at 9 with my shades on, was like doop 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 doop, check Facebook, running a process over here. Like really the work that I had to do could have got done in 45 minutes every fucking day. Left work at 5, peace out niggas. And then I would drink, go out. Like those couple years after college was the most I probably like turned up. Literally I'd be in Greensboro every other night. I was in a relationship with a guy who was at A&T. So I was over there all the time. It was just stupid but it wasn't bad because I was not hindered from my work. My work was so remedial that it was like, whatever. But eventually I was like, all right, this is stupid. And like, I really need to get back on track. And so I started talking to some of my professors, my old professors at the school, and they just started asking me questions that helped me realize what I did care about, which was, oh, it looks like you're more into like the communication side of things. And they led me to a program to look into. And then I applied to grad school and everything just worked out. Went in with the job already because she connected me to one of the professors and got there and just got things popping, got free housing, everything. And that's why I moved to DC.
So I have a question. So, because everything that you just said, I know what you do now, and I know how hard you like work, and I can see your vision board every time we do the podcast and shit. You writing on the people apartment walls and all that bullshit.
I know. I got to paint it today because I'm moving.
Right. You got your tabs on there, your markers and all that stuff. So how did you transition from being a person who just kind of went with the flow and all these things just sort of fell into place, minus the grad school thing, and then going into being like this super planning business person? Like, what was the transition there?
You know, what's super duper funny is that I was totally not this person. And even funnier is I hated communication and I did not talk to people. I was super closed off. And even in that college relationship that I had, like he was always angry at me, like, let's just talk about this. I'm like, no, like, don't talk to your friends about this either. Like they don't need to be in our business. Like I was that person. And I just would drink or other bad habits that I had at the time. Instead of talking to people and instead of, I'd never call to talk to my parents about stuff. Sorry, I just got a little off the topic from your actual question, but people would ask me all the time about, you know, oh, is your family close, whatever. And I don't know, maybe it's just an automatic response to be like, yeah, man, we're super close, which we are. We're everybody be like, oh, y'all are like the Cosbys and this or that. My dad calls and be like, I want to be the first person to tell you I love you. My mom, you know, hit me up every once in a while. Like we're just really a close family. At the same time, my parents probably do not know me. You know what I mean? Like I did not go to them in high school and college. I didn't go to them about stuff. I didn't talk to them about stuff. I would probably say a lot of that is because of the church thing and feeling like you had to be. I definitely have always felt like I had to be a perfect person. Not that, and that's me saying that. My parents never were like, you need to be perfect. I think I made that up because as I get older and start to talk to them more about stuff, they're like, oh yeah, you know, that shit happens. And I'd be like, damn, like I made that up for myself and blocked it myself, whereas I really probably could have been more open with them about a lot of things. But yeah, I was totally different person up to maybe 22, 23 than I am now, just totally mentally. And I didn't even like talking. So to be in school and learning about intercultural communication, all of that stuff, cool. Expanding, like moving to a different place, expanding my friendship circle, all of that. I think all of that kind of helped me to start to open up more about certain things. There's a lot of stuff even to this recently, last 6 months, that I didn't just start talking about with people. But it was because I had to. So when it came to the point where after grad school, I was like, man, I guess I should start this business because I'm not getting jobs. And I do have these couple freelance clients because what I do now, you know, I started out just kind of freelancing, doing it for different people. And it was out of having to. So it wasn't like some big, man, I want to start a business and be a big business person. It was, how do I use this now to live? and I had to make a big decision. Maybe I technically started my business September 8th. It'll be 6 years this year. And that next January was when I was like, all right, I'm done with this. Like, it's only a few months, but I was just doing the exact same things and the same, not having a process, not having a system as it was when I was just freelancing. So it wasn't a real business. You know how everybody now is a business owner and everybody got their number and whatever, but it's like, okay, are you really actually doing anything? And so that January, my boyfriend at the time, we sat down, we popped a Molly, and we
started sweating. Woo!
That's the funniest part of the story that people don't really be known, is like I was on drugs where I like really made the decision to like start my business for real. Because I still have the papers and they look so crazy, but these yellow legal papers, we'd start writing like ideas, like, all right, how can we make income? What service can I go more on? Who can I sell to? Like all kind of numbers. Everything is like outlined 50 times, each word, each letter. It looks like it was psychotic, these papers, and I still have them. And we did it for like 8 hours. We were just like in a zone. And that's when I was deciding like, okay, I have to just move forward. I have to do it. So it was out of having to. And then from that, how I learned all these systems, all these processes comes out of the pain of, bro, like that's the worst feeling ever when you're busy, but you're not seeing anything. Or, okay, you're making money, but now you don't have any money. And so it's a weird cycle. And I'd always just listen to a zillion podcasts, read a lot of books, which I still do now, but that's really how I learned how to do everything, and always just trying different processes to figure out what works for me.
So you said that your parents don't really know you because like it has to go back to, it goes back to your religion or the way you grew up. Are you still religious or not?
I'm not. But the weird thing is when people talk about religion, I feel like a traitor. And so I hate to say I'm not religious, but I'm not. And you know how with a lot of things, the more you know, the more you're like, damn, I can't support this anymore. Like everything's so fucking phony, dog. Like, and there's so many main points and the main, concepts of love and this or that are missed by so many people. And I also get that, hey, you can't blanket this religion by some bad people or whatever. But just overall, it's just a system. And it seems to be a little bit more oppressive than uplifting from what I see. I mentioned that I took Hebrew. In undergrad. I learned biblical Hebrew so I could read the Bible in the original. And I would look at it and be like, this shit is not what this is. Like, it literally is totally different. And there's obviously now, I mean, we can say it's obvious, but there's so many cultural tones that make things mean something a lot different than, when we just read it. So I would read it, and then I would actually study like what is life in Mesopotamia and Syria, and like why would they use these types of metaphors, similes? Like, it doesn't really mean this. It's really they're saying something else. And it blows my mind how many people are religious or, say you're a Christian or whatever, and haven't even read the Bible, haven't even read the other texts that didn't get chosen by these white people who sat around the table and decided what was going to be in the Bible. Like, I understand the messaging. I agree with it. And I can debate anybody about anything because I really, really know it. I've read it multiple times. I grew up in church. I went to churches where I tended to go to churches where pastors would break down, words, meanings, not just be like, your haters will be at your footstool. Like those kind of churches, I was like, damn, I started to despise them. I started to go to places feeling skeptical, and I would listen, waiting for them to say something crazy or something that wasn't really right, just so I could be like, yep, another church where they're just hyping everybody up and getting ready for offerings. So now I would say I'm not religious. Every once in a while I think about like, man, I should pray more often because I really don't. Like I should. But to me, this is probably gonna sound weird because it's not like a mapped out thing, but to me, God or whatever the power at be is like positivity, kind of like that. To be in a certain type of space, is how things kind of tend to come together and work out. So I do not, but there's a couple churches that I do like, but I'll throw on the YouTube or whatever because I don't feel like going out there. There's a couple places I like and get good messages if they're applicable to life now and not just like they're telling the story, a Bible story. I think a lot of churches are too like remedial. Like it's like elementary school and it's like, bro, we've been going to church all this time. People should already know these stories. We should be past that, as far as just rehashing stuff that happened.
All right. So I know your parents are Bahamian.
My mom is.
Your mom is. So my parents are also foreign and they're very religious.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to go home and say, hey, mom and dad, I don't believe,
Oh, we'll never have that conversation.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's
my parents are very much we don't ask certain things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they don't ask me about sex. They've never asked me about any of that stuff.
Yeah, that's how my parents are too.
Yeah, like and I get it. It's like I'd rather just, not know. At the same time, because of my parents, I recognize certain things that I would do a different way because I would want my kids to feel open. I would want them to not feel like they're in a box or whatever else. And again, these are things too I would never really tell my parents because they'd be so hurt because I'm that's not their intention. They're like for you to feel that way or whatever at all. But definitely like when they call, they'll be like, oh, did you go to church today? And I'll be like, nah. They're like, okay, well, you need to da-da-da. Okay. When I go home, I go, like I gotta go. Yeah. So I'm not that person when I'm like, no, I'm not going. If I didn't pop up, they'd be like, whatever. But I'm gonna go. When my mom comes to visit me here in a couple weeks, we'll go to church. So, and it's not nothing that I hate or anything I despise. It's just, I think a lot of times people go for a weird reason or they're going and it's like, what are you getting out of this?
And your brothers. So for like, I'm like you, like I consider myself more spiritual than religious because I don't really like the whole Christian organization.
I just don't like that people don't know what they're talking about. I don't like people believing things that they can't explain or believing things that they don't know. Like if you can't talk to me about why you think this or why you don't think it, I don't want to talk to you about it. And that's most people, I believe.
Yeah. So my brothers are like me as far as their relationship with the actual church. So your brothers also, they feel the same way you feel, or?
I mean, my youngest one definitely doesn't go. My middle one probably. Around, but not because they know, not because they've studied and know. It's just, and maybe it's it could quite possibly be kind of a generational thing too. But I think that now it just doesn't serve us in that same way that maybe a little bit older people have served as a place to go, get motivated, feel realigned. I think now, I don't know if we're more skeptical or we see more or what it is, but that's not the place to think to go for that, if that makes sense. Like I think I saw something about, they said like churches dwindling for younger people, but at the same time we're also like 30 something, so maybe, I don't know, maybe not. But it's like a lot of these churches are trying to be cool guys now, and that's whatever. Or you walk in and they got like a cafe over here, they doing concerts over there, and it's like
ATM machine.
Yeah, like whatever you got to do, bro.
He's on the ATM machine in the spot,
right? Like,
where they take Cash App with the.
I'm not mad at that either, but I'm like, bro, what about people's time? I think your time is more valuable. I mean, same with Greek life, to me, honestly. I don't participate in much of anything anymore because I don't have to do it through y'all. I don't have to give you money to help people. I can help people.
So, you live in LA. You've been there for 3 years, 2 years?
3 years in October.
Okay, so would you ever move back east?
Sure. This is another one of those things people always say, are you going to be here forever? I don't know. I could move next week if the right thing happens, I don't. But I did used to always think I would want to move back to North Carolina and get a house there. But nigga, them niggas is gerrymandering like Iraq over there. So that's terrible. Like the more I learn about social issues and, the last few years obviously have been a lot going on. Debates around the flags. All of a sudden you see neighbors of my parents got their big flags up. Like ignorant science flags, like for no reason, just flying around. And so now when I go home, it's different. You know, anytime I'm in the South now, it feels different. And I think it's me being traumatized because people are nice. Like I'll be at the track and a white guy will be, hey, good morning. And I'm like, yo, like, you know, what's going on? I'm ready to like fight everybody who's kind of stops around me, but they're all really nice. And it's just hard to break past that when I see certain people. But overall, I don't think I'm necessarily want to get a home there. But I mean, again, I don't know. I don't know where I'll end up, honestly, guys. It could be anywhere.
Do you think you'll run your business forever, or do you think that maybe you'll get to a point where you kind of like, all right, well, I've done enough of this thing. I can sell. It's still called capitalized social, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just feel like, all right, well, capitalized social is making us.
It's hard. So no, it's not. It's really still been a long battle of breaking out of. So there's when you're by yourself and you're like freelancer mode. Then I broke out of that to more so, okay, there's team members, there's stuff to delegate, more processes, but still not quite broken out of to that place where, nigga, I could be anywhere doing anything and stuff is still happening. Like there's still a lot that I'm still doing. I think a lot of that comes from lack of overhead. So for example, if somebody were to give me, you know, $100,000, I would know exactly what to do to be like, boom, make this course, boom, doing this, boom, do this, I'm out, and like this can just run. So I think, and then I try not to be down on myself because I'm like, dang, I've been doing this for a long time. At the same time, I read people's stories and it's like, them niggas was in business for like 15, 20 years before like all of a sudden, you know, stuff could click the right way or whatever else. This is also not a complaint about work because this is the part that I love the most really is the building it, the process, the finding the sweet spot. The business is in marketing / communication / using these platforms, which always are changing. So it's also a little bit difficult too, because like next month, this whole shit can be kind of different, or what I have to teach or train people or help people do kind of changes. So I think, and I get nervous too. Like anytime I hop in an Uber or a Lyft and it's an old person driving and I'm like, yo, I don't know if, you know, like, am I in a position to where I'm actually going to have like so much bread saved up where I'm not going to be like working forever? Like, that's what it feels like. But there's lots of things. I mean, it's always feels like this. Like you're always like right on the brink of like things changing in a different way or whatever. On the cusp, shout out to your girl on Twitter.
On the cusp.
But it's like, yeah, big picture wise again though, like I try not to look at the 5-6 years as like, that's so long, because it really isn't. And there's been a lot of, you know, every couple of years, maybe there's a year where it was just straight up stagnant. And I was like, whatever. But things are super growing. I have such good partners and team members. A guy who's helping me develop a damn $2,500 course and some other stuff. And, you know, it's a lot of stuff just I have to really go in and work. And then for it to take off and do whatever it needs to do. So it's kind of still head down mode.
So I know we talked about maybe the first 2 episodes we talked about therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Besides therapy, how else do you practice self-care?
That's a good question. For me, a lot of times, if I'm being honest, I call my procrastination self-care, which in turn makes it not self-care anymore. Like if we're being real.
Self-care with self-destructiveness.
I self-care when it's like, I got 200 emails I need to answer. I'm going to go take a nap. And then it's worse. So honest, real self-care for me, it's hard. It really never feels like that because I always have something to do. And to not be working is good because obviously you need the breaks, but to not be working always still turns into more stress like when I come back to it. So it's really weird. But I would say a little bit, maybe in my travel, my reading, like reading, writing, watching Netflix, watching Rick and Morty over and over. I think I just have to like zone out and just watch something or just kind of chill. Like I could chill, lay around. And to me, that's kind of self-care. Get my nails done every couple of weeks now, to where I used to not be like girly at all, do anything extra. But now I'm pretty regular with that. What else? Hanging out with my new girlfriends. I would say that's a big thing too, because they are also very much in that same wave of, you know, self-care is important and trying to balance work and personal and everything as well. So I'm at a point in my life, I feel like, where there is no balance, but I can't really afford to have but so much balance. And I think that's okay sometimes, where, yeah, you got to go in when you go in. Like, it's a good thing. Like, I'm not married. I don't have kids. I don't have a pet, you know? So why not just go all in on my shit?
You mentioned the gym, right? You didn't mention the gym.
I'm about to say, I sure didn't mention the gym. I didn't go this morning because I didn't want to look burnt out on this on this episode.
I haven't seen you on the IG story in the gym in a while. So,
well, that's because I was out of town.
And shit.
Huh?
I say, yeah, you like, you had a little boxing videos and shit.
Yeah, so I was there. I went this week, but so in the summertime, I knew it was gonna get stupid. But summertime, apparently, that's when I end up traveling more. So I was like out of town. I was on a whole tour for like a month, and then when I got back, was really focusing on like looking at these apartments, and it's like a lot of stuff going on that I just was like, all right. With me, when too much time goes by and I miss too many sessions, then I'm like, it's easier and easier to not go. So I have gone a couple times in the last couple weeks though, so I'll get back to it. But I also did, even when I was going, it's so funny because people think like you're trying to show everybody you're in the gym, but not necessarily. Like my trainer actually, he takes all these pictures and video like while we're working out just because he likes to do it anyway, and then he'll send it to us. So I'll just put it up because he was doing it anyway, which is probably good for him because I think he has like 4 or 5 people that came just with me or because of me, and they want to try the gym out. So that's smart, I guess, for his marketing too. But I've been in there, and once I finish moving and stuff, I'll try to get back on it. But I also don't drive here, so that's part of what makes it easy. I don't just hop in a car and go. I always would Uber, or I realized that was dumb because it's up the street like a couple miles, but up one street. So I'll hop on the bus and go up there too.
Just run.
No, I'm not running 4 miles to the gym.
I knew he was going to say that.
I would run to the gym. There's a gym that's maybe a mile away, so I would go to do that. But I'm not doing 4 miles to then go do this fucking HIIT workouts and shit.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I feel thinner when I'm not in the gym though, because when I get in there, it's like I get fatter. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to like make my arms smaller, not like thicker. I already got this whole broad shoulder thing going on.
You got them swimming shoulders.
Yeah, man. Like I'm out here like fighting people.
Nothing wrong with that. Are we gonna get personal?
Damn, nigga, how long you want this interview to go?
Are we gonna get personal? How personal are you trying to get to today? I'm gonna always cut it out if it gets crazy.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there's anything I wouldn't answer.
No, I was gonna ask you. You said you're moving this weekend. I was gonna ask if are you still gonna live with your brother? Or are you gonna move by yourself or?
Yes, I am. So we got a 3-bedroom apartment, and the funny thing about living with my brother, because people are like, "Is that weird?" And I'm like, man, we could have like lived together a long time ago. Like we're perfect. He got his, I was about to say his hoes, but I don't even know his situation, and that's why I know it ain't nothing serious. But he don't be here. Like I'll hear him leave for work maybe, but I also hear him come in at like 6 or 7 sometimes. So he just be gone. Sometimes I don't see him for a couple of days. But we get along like so well. We're both clean. I overheard he told my parents that he's like, man, Lex is a great roommate. Like everything works out real great. I wish I had lived with her before, and that made me feel special.
And this is your youngest brother or your middle brother?
My middle. Yeah, we have no issues. And he also does a lot of the same stuff as far as marketing funnels, online stuff. He can build sites, so we kind of have a lot of synergy. And he's really one of the only people, not only, but one of the top people I trust to actually talk and run like business ideas and talk about strategy, stuff like that. And the same with him too. And he's also in a position where, he works at a job, but he's working, trying to, also be able to fund doing his other stuff and stuff he wants to do. So, I mean, I feel like with our lives, it's a matter of just being fatigued and like being able to push past limits to get things done. Because when you work for yourself too, you have to do more just to like get to a regular space, I believe.
Right.
Like I gotta do admin, I gotta do sales, I gotta do implementation, I gotta manage people.
You're the boss and all the employees at the same time.
Right. It's like so much, because even when people work with me, I still got to be on top of them with what they're doing, so I have lessened the load a lot because I hit a ceiling, was like, I can't do anything if I'm trying to do everything. And plus that's just dumb. But a lot of it was I just didn't have my processes in place enough to pass it on and that also be efficient.
All right.
But I do now. Ooh wee.
So look like you're up and moving up in the world, 3-bedroom apartment. You probably got an office, right? That's gonna be your
Yeah, but I got a balcony, so I'm hyped about my little balcony on my bedroom because I'm about to set this shit up. Because you know it's LA and it's always nice outside, so I'm gonna put like a lot of plants out there, a little mini like desk out there, some cushions and like seating, hammock, and I'm gonna just keep my balcony window thing open, so it's like hop out of bed, go out there, meditate, work. I'm gonna try to make it a vibe.
Only Lexi.
Not gonna be raining here like it does in Seattle every day.
First of all, it hasn't rained here in I don't know how long.
Is there a counter? Is there a last X amount of days has passed since it's rained here?
No, it doesn't really rain in the summertime here. Yeah, but that's all. That's all.
That's as personal as you're gonna get, my brother. Wow.
I mean, I said personal because I didn't know if you wanted to
ask about my cycle and everything, my health.
I mean, I could ask you about the dating life, but I have a question about the dating life.
I feel like people are tired of that anyway. Everybody already knows. Well, you know what? One thing I've learned is not to assume people know what they pay attention to because they do not.
I guarantee you, people aren't tired of it. Well, some people aren't. You have your fans. I guarantee you, maybe like 50% of our new followers, probably 75% of our new followers listen just because of you. So,
which is funny because what do I even be talking about?
You ain't gotta be talking about nothing. You fine. And they think you fine. So
exactly.
People swear I'm like a Claire Huxtable, which I like in a way because I'm like people are like, oh, I know your DM's crazy. I'm like, no, they're actually like paragraphs about how people like admire or they see this or that, and wow, you inspire me to do this. And
okay, speaking of,
okay, which is cool, but
speaking of DMs, would you ever date a follower?
Yeah.
Have you
dated followers? I mean, as in a real boyfriend. One of them was a real boyfriend. I've gone on dates with followers. I've been in relations, not in relations, had relations with followers. Like, I'm not opposed. I mean, it's people.
Oh, yeah. Right. So there's still a chance for the people.
Not ones in LA. Well, only a couple in LA. Not like anything really in LA, but.
So you heard that, people listening? There's a chance.
Why are you trying to hold it down?
What's weird though is that, but you can't see. You have to actually have been engaging. You know what I mean, on the timeline and on social. Anybody just sending you a DM is automatically like, I'm good, or it's very easy to just not pay attention to it and not answer it. It's kind of like when people are like, hey, can I ask you a question? To me, that's the dumbest question ever. And I already don't want to talk to you because you have a tendency to waste time because you didn't just ask what you needed to ask. A lot of times people be like, hey, can I get to know you? And it's like, why do that when you could just talk? See what I'm talking about? Talk back, like talk for a while. And if people are interesting to me, I talk to them, I follow them, whatever. But I mean, think about it like sales. Like, you don't just cold call people. You don't just see somebody on the street and ask them out. Like, nobody wants to do that. Or maybe they do. I don't know. I don't. I like for things to seem a little bit more organic and authentic, even if that's your end goal. Like, just take it chill. Take it slow.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's your blueprint.
That's the blueprint. People here trying to sell a process.
Yeah, he
$9.99 hit to
he got some other shit going on. Do you have any more questions? Because you done had all of them.
Oh no, I've checked off all my questions.
Okay, so since we don't went through like your entire life and shit, I figure we can end with something light. What's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you?
Shit, I'm thinking something quickly. Most embarrassing,
or the most embarrassing thing that you can think of right now that happened to you.
I'm trying to think. And the things that are coming to my mind first are not really the most embarrassing. Have to have something though.
You ain't got don't nothing embarrassing happen to you, nigga.
Yeah, but it's like stuff like, okay, so these are my first thoughts. These aren't my most embarrassing because I don't care about strangers. trying to think about something happening to somebody I know or around people I know.
I mean,
I could probably have a better.
It's the same thing.
Like I've crossed the street and like fell down in the middle of the street for no reason in front of like all the cars on the four-way stop, stuff like that. Or I got in a car accident where I was coming out of a parking garage, it wasn't buckled up yet, and I hit the front window and the whole window broke. But I was good because my head is like titanium. My head is vibranium and shit. So I was like, damn. But I was actually embarrassed because everybody was like, "Do you need to go to the hospital?" I was like, "I think I'm good, dog." I was like, "You know what? My whole shit is shattered, but I think I'm good." And they were like, and they made me go, and they were like, "Oh, you are good. Damn, your shit crazy." I was like, "Okay."
Show solid forehead.
Oh my gosh, but that's not embarrassment. I don't know. I can't really think of anything. Maybe it would have been messing up speaking about something. I can't even think of no guy embarrassments.
Wow, you're just living a good life.
No, there's a lot of crazy shit, but
none of it is embarrassing. I ain't got no more. I mean, I let Tunde take Tunde did a good job of asking all the questions. I was just like, all right, well, I'm just let that nigga ride. All right, so that is our first installment.
And there's still so much more stuff. There's so much more stuff.
I mean, do you want to
not to make y'all ask questions, but I'm just saying. I feel like the things I talked about were where I came from and kind of what shapes me.
Fuck it. We'll do a part 2 next week then. We'll do a part 2. No, we can do that. I mean, shit, it's called the Meet the Negroes series. We can do a part 2.
I'm about to say there's the whole like my family moving forward and
you have an announcement?
Yeah, I'm about to say. Wait,
no, I don't have an announcement.
yeah, I almost missed that. My family. Something you trying to you tell you on podcast maternity leave, nigga? Like, what is happening right now?
Coming next time.
Well,
y'all won't know about my kids till they 17.
Wow, fucking deadbeat.
Exactly.
Drake, hide your kids from the world.
That don't mean I'm not taking care of them. You're just not gonna see them. Y'all too evil online.
Wow.
Y'all not making no memes out of my baby.
Wow. All right. Well.
Hey, thanks guys for the great questions.
No problem. Thanks for answering. That is NWAP Season 3, Meet the Negro series. Whoa. I'm sorry. NWAP Season 5, Episode 3, Meet the Negro series, starring Alexia Eldora Clincy. We will see y'all next week where we will be interviewing Tunde.
Yeah.
Yay.
Peace.
Peace. Ciao. Bye. Adios.
There you go.